The little brass fitting that goes in the bottom of the ISQ pawn, and now I'm going to make the pawn. It's a bone pawn they normally wear, and you can get decent cow's leg bones from the supermarkets, give them to your dog, leave them out in the yard for 6 months and they come back pretty reasonable looking. But I've got a piece here that I'm going to cut because it's thick enough on the wall, which is what we're looking for. Bone turners of old had access to quite large quantities of bone, and they could select for the thickness, and sometimes you can get up to 20, even 22, even 23 mil on the thickness of the wall, but we don't have the access to that now because food animals are killed very early. I've cut myself a bit of bone that I know is going to be big enough and thick enough to make the pawn, and I'm just going to go across now and grip it in the 3 jaw, and then I shall turn a pawn. So
talk about other uses. This is all on a wood lathe. And
yeah, so I'd made the brass fitting I made on the wood lathe, which could come in handy for anyone who was making knives with inlay, or the pins that go through the handles, or a brass button on the end. You can even, with some effort, turn steel on a wood lathe, but it is pretty hard and difficult. Do copper, of course. You could cut the ferrules to length on a wood lathe for a tool. It's only limited by your imagination and what your project is to a certain extent. It's all that limits it. It's just how long it takes. If you had a little wood lathe, but they're $500 or $600, and you wouldn't necessarily want to spend a lot of time using them.
You mean a metal lathe?
A metal lathe, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. So I'm going to turn this down. And I just want to make sure that I can get the thickness. It's always tricky making sure that you can get the right diameter. It's about on it. Oh, I've got a bit more to take off here, so that's fine.
Tell them why you made this cone.
I'm making this cone because I know that the chess piece is shapeless, so I'm just basically roughing it out to approximately the same diameter as it's going to end up at. It saves a lot of trouble. And that's just eyeing that up. It looks alright. That's the right size there. That one's a bit more off there. Now while I'm at this stage, I'm going to find my little brass fitting that I made, and I'm going to find a suitable sized drill bit, and I'm going to do something that you shouldn't do, so don't do this at home, folks. That will go in nicely. And now, thank you. Now we're going to flatten the tool a little bit. I'm just going to form the pawn to suit forming the curve with the 3-corner tool. I mean, I could use an oval tool if I wanted to get in there and make it nice and smooth. Make sure I'm getting at the right size. Bone's very brittle, you've got to watch out for that. You can always soak it overnight, but I've never noticed any difference. Some difficulty with this, but we're getting there. And just before we completely part it off, and just give it the oops, well there it goes, it'll have to be finished separately.
Hold it up anyway.
Down here somewhere, I've lost it.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, okay. So, here we have a reproduction of an ISQ pawn.